Hey there guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today, and just as a quick reminder, all the videos on this channel are not made for children. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey there guys, today we'll be looking at Mafex Batman Hush Harley Quinn, and in fact I just checked Big Bad Toy Store recently, they still have this figure in stock. You can find it for $99.99, so basically $100, not to mention the $5 for shipping. Alright, and here's everything you get right out of the box. So of course you get this little Metacon paper. You get a stand for the figure. And of course you get all of this. So you get 3 heads, this weapon accessory, 2 pairs of feet, and you also get 5 pairs of hands. Alright guys, and here she is, Harley Quinn. Now one thing, even though I do like this figure, however, it looks like I got some bad quality control on mine. Let me zoom in a little bit. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but as you can see this right here, the black area on the top, it's like a little bit too much to the left. So it doesn't like perfectly align right here, so that's kind of annoying. But then it gets even worse on the crotch piece. As you can see here, the black like it curves further into the left, and then the red curves further into the right. Now is this like the worst thing in the world? No, but like this is a $100 figure, so you would think that the quality would be better. And that's not the only part that's a little bit messed up. Now, for some reason, they decided to paint this thing that's around her neck. It's actually painted. So that means that if you try to lift it upwards, as you can see, some of that white paint actually leaked onto the body. And it also happened right here on the back. And the main reason, now granted you can't see that, but because if you want to use the articulation, you know, it is made of a softer plastic, so you can bend it to get so you can cross the arms like that. So of course you're going to be able to see that if you ever try to use that articulation. Which again, this is a $100 figure, you know, stuff like this especially shouldn't happen, especially since, you know, this is a very basic design. Now when it comes to the rest of the figure, it is done pretty well. The diamonds are well painted. Everything looks pretty good except for those minor issues that I mentioned earlier. The backside came out perfectly. Everything is like perfectly straight, as you can see. Now, is this the worst thing in the world? Is this gonna like ruin the figure for me? No, not really. Like again, these are just like minor things. Like honestly, if you put her in a pose, you probably won't even notice those imperfections. However, this is a $100 figure, and naturally you would expect these to be perfect, especially with how simple her design is. Like literally, this is the only part that, you know, that has paint. Everywhere else, like you do get some paint right here, some here, but again, those are just like small little things right there. So I would think that, you know, for the price point and how simple her design is, you know, it would be like perfect. And to show off her accessories, here is her default head. And here is Harley Quinn's alternate happy face. And here is her final head, her upset angry face. Now keep one thing in mind, these things on her head, they are made of a harder plastic, however they do flex a little bit lower down. However, because it is made of a harder plastic, it is possible that these might break off one day if you drop them. And when it comes to this thing around her neck, as you can see, it is actually attached, even though it is a separate piece, it is attached to her body, so you cannot remove it. Alright, and now let's talk about her articulation. As I stated earlier, this thing around her neck, it is made of a soft plastic, so it will not interfere with the arm articulation. And this is how well it'll cross into each other. And the same goes backwards. This is as well as she can T-pose. She does have arm rotation. And this is about as well as her arm can bend. Unfortunately, I wish it was a bit better. And she also has a ball joint for the chest and the stomach. And this is how much she can bend forward. Now technically you can go a little bit further if you do this. Now it will look a little bit wonky from up here, but basically she can go much further down. Unfortunately, going backwards, the legs will remain really straight. However, the upper half of her body does bend down pretty well. Now when it comes to her leg articulation, this is about as high up as she can kick. This is about as back as she can go. Now it does go off a little bit to the side when you do it backwards. Now this figure does not have thigh rotation, however you can rotate it at the ball joint, but it's very limited. She also has these drop downs for the legs. This is about as far the knee can bend. And of course you get foot articulation. And you also get a toe articulation. Now when it comes to the rest of her accessories, she does get this one weapon, her mallet, and for the most part it came out pretty good. It's mainly silver but with red paint, or reddish pink paint I should say. And everything looks on point. This thin line right here, right below the mallet, it is a little sloppy, but honestly that line is so thin that honestly it's understandable. Everything else, however, came out pretty good. Alright, now when it comes to her hand accessories, she does come with these open relaxed hands by default. And of course, she also comes with a pair of fists. She also comes with a pair of pointing hands. She also comes with a pair of these more open hands. And lastly, she comes with her weapon holding hands. These are mainly for her mallet. And lastly, when it comes to her last accessory, she does get these alternate feet that give her these springs. And I forgot to mention one little thing. Now, swapping the hands is pretty easily. However, when you do that, this thing right here, this is a separate piece, and this makes it a little bit annoying because every time I want to swap out the hands, this thing always falls off. So you gotta be very careful when you're putting it back on. Alright guys, and now it's time for the size comparison. Here she is next to my Snail Shell Zombie Grizza and Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. And here she is next to my Jedi Toys Street Fighter Cammy and Guile. And here she is next to my Mafex Marvel Gwenpool and my DC Batman Night Crusader. And lastly, here she is next to my official Figure Arts Android 21 and my third-party Xenogoku. Now overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. I do like it a lot. Now granted, I do got some CQ issues on mine, however 2 of the 3 of them, they are not that noticeable, so ultimately they do not bother me. However, this is a $100 figure after all, so they shouldn't be there in the first place, but again, if all you want is a 1/12 scale Harley Quinn figure in her classic costume, this is basically a good way to go, and that's actually what I like about the Batman Hush figures from Mafex. Now granted, I know that they're based on the Hush storyline, but pretty much most of the characters, they just look like their traditional classic look, and that's why I really love these figures, why I collect them. And ultimately, yeah, if you just want a good Harley Quinn figure, I highly recommend it. And besides, just because I got some CQ issues on mine doesn't mean that you're gonna get them. It's possible that yours are gonna be better than mine. But anyway guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you can, please like and subscribe, and I'll be uploading more soon. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.